Hey, Alex, knock knock.
Who's there?
It's another episode of Terrorvision with Justin
Whoa,
and Alex.
shit! I wasn't expecting that. Man,
It's been it's really been a fat minute.
yeah, no, it's been a while. We've been trying. I feel like I feel like at least once a week, one of us texts the other and is like, "Hey, are you free to record?" Just, uh,
Mostly me.
yeah, mostly you. And I'm like, I've got work or I'm too busy getting railed by a bunch of guys.
As we were mentioning earlier too, I like how we our last episode in January we were like, oh yeah, we're gonna keep uploading more this year and like a
Right.
consistent upload schedule, and then like here we are 5 months later.
Well, we had an upload schedule. I still have the schedule in my calendar. It comes up every once in a while, but we we just
Like you need to record today, like
dude, we one thing happened on that day. Well, no, what happened was we went to record this episode and we watched the whole movie together, like the whole movie. And
mhm.
at the end we went to set up and record and what was it? There was like a really awful buzzing noise in one of my mics.
Yeah,
So we ended up not being able to record, and then that just messed our whole schedule up. From there, like
right. Well, hopefully, we're trying a different way of recording right now, so hopefully this will go well.
we're trying over Discord, yeah.
Yes, we're doing Discord call, so we're gonna try that and see if it makes our lives easier and more freed up to have a better upload schedule. So I'm not gonna promise this time,
No, we can't make any
but
promises. They'll come when they
but
come, but
we hope.
we'll do our best. Well, so anyways, what are we talking about today, Justin?
Today we are gonna catch up from 5 months ago on Evil Dead Rise.
A movie we watched together like 4 months ago. Yeah.
I still pretty much remember most of the plot.
Oh yeah, me
So,
too. Me
and
too.
I've watched the movie a couple times, so it's overall a pretty good slasher. Evil Dead Rise 2023, yeah,
Yep. Yep.
2023. It's about an hour and 37-minute long film. The director is Lee Cronin, who did a pretty pretty damn good job for this one, being a I don't know if it's a sequel to the 2013 one, but it could be in the same universe. But anyways, but
Yeah, you know, now that you mention it, I think because I've never really thought about it, but this movie could be a sequel to like and really any of the like Evil Dead franchise. You know what I mean?
right.
Because Evil Dead
Well,
is
I
split into what, like
do.
three or four different canons.
Yeah, I do have a theory about it being all connected, but I'm gonna wait a little later in
I
this
see.
recording. But yes, so Evil Dead Rise 2023. IMDb gave it a 6.5 out of 10, which is kind of reasonable.
I don't know. I feel
Rotten
like that's a little low.
Tomatoes, it is a little low. A little low. I would imagine it being like a 7.5 or an 8
Yeah,
in
yeah,
my opinion. But Rotten Tomatoes gave it at 84%.
yeah. That's a little more. That's a little more on the mark, I'd
That's
say.
that's more, yeah. But overall this movie opens up pretty off the wall.
Pretty strongly. Pretty strongly. I remember watching this movie in theaters when it came out. And just kind of like not really expecting anything great, but I remember that opening scene just being like, "Fuck, that was crazy. That was really good."
Right? Where she
Um,
fucking rips her scalp off and
right,
the
right,
drone,
right.
like,
No, and like
yeah.
the whole shot where the chick levitates out of the water and the title behind, I'm like, oh
Oh,
fuck,
that was a
that's so cool.
beautiful shot.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
really.
no. Uh,
My only complaint with that is that it does like it really does have fucking nothing to do with the rest of the movie. Like I know they connect it at the very end kind of loosely, but you know,
yeah, it's like a just a random C plot that just never really gets explained or
right.
not really shown. But
It's
I
just a
mean,
really cold
it's a cool
opening.
little idea that they like connect it towards the end, but it was just like, was there really a point?
Fuck, let's jump into like what goes on in this movie. I guess to put it simply, the Evil Dead rises. It's
that's
the main
that's
gist of it.
it. The Evil Dead Rises, and that's
Yep.
pretty much the movie. No, I'm kidding. So it kind of opens up to one of the characters, Beth, I believe, um, who's like a audio engineer for like music or just for like bands and stuff for like
Yeah, yeah.
gigs. Come to find out that she's like taking a pregnancy test in one of the stalls in the bathroom and finds out that she's pregnant. So it's this whole other plot to the story. And she's in town visiting her sister Ellie, which is the mom who gets possessed in the film. And Ellie has a family of three, which is Bridget, Cassie, and Danny, which are her children. And kind of shit starts hitting the wall once the mom kind of sends them out to go get like pizza and stuff after like Beth came over and kind of surprised herself that she was in town. And while that happened, a random earthquake started going on and kind of formed a hole or some sort of abyss in the parking lot of the apartments. By the way, this the whole setting of this movie is set in like this apartment building, which is really cool, and it's very different from most of the Evil Dead films besides Army of Darkness, which I personally like
I love
because
Army of Darkness. So
Army of
it's a
Darkness
fun
is
movie.
fucking yeah, it's a very fun. I actually watched that movie like 2 nights ago, and I was just having a laugh and a good old time watching it. But
The yeah, the whole boomstick scene, it's classic, iconic.
classic scene. I was
Um,
laughing at a scene that I was sending my brother and some other friends where they were it was like the war happening outside the castle
mhm.
and like they shoot like a flame arrow at one of the skeletons or like one of the demons and his head just slowly turns towards the camera and just makes this goofy ass scream and then just explodes. And I
I
was
think I
just
know. I
laughing.
think I know what you're
He was like,
talking about.
"Oh!" It just explodes. It was too
Yeah.
funny, but anyways, but yeah, the reason why I like Evil Dead Rise, like setting wise, is because most of the Evil Dead movies is always based on the Nobi cabin, and
Mm.
so taking it away from that cabin setting into like a whole like kind of like city apartment, um, old apartment kind of vibe, like is makes it more creepier. So
I
I
know
kind
what you
of
mean. It's kind of like that like liminal suburban horror type, where they do the purpose of the log cabin in the woods in the classic movies is obviously to isolate the characters and make it feel like there really is no way out. And they do the same thing here, where they kind of they establish they're in an apartment building, but then once shit starts hitting the fan, they establish like all the ways that they can't get out, and they're like the elevator's busted, there's no fire escape, there was an earthquake, so the stairs are fucked,
right,
and so like they kind of give it this aura of like almost being like home alone at night, where it's like that nothing bad is supposed to happen, but you can't shake that feeling of like just creepy things,
right,
or like being at like a Walmart parking lot at 2 in the morning. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's kind of got that feeling of like this should be normal, but it's not, and oh man, yeah, I like that vibe. I like that.
No, it's a really good setting that the director kind of showed for an audience for kind of like a new style of Evil Dead. But yeah, so an earthquake happened and the parking lot and the stairs and elevator and everything kind of went into shambles, stopped working, but it created like some sort of crater of like this unknown kind of location in like within the apartment building where
It was like a
the
underground like bank vault or something, right?
yeah, yeah, that's pretty much what it was. I was trying to
Yeah.
think of like what specifically it was, but yeah, they found like this underground like old bank vault where it had like all these like crucifixes and just like and old vinyls that uh carried and like had preachings and recordings of this pastor preacher talking about the Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead. They pretty much found the Book of the Dead in there too, as well. And being the snot-nosed child he was, Danny took upon himself of getting those vinyls because he's also like a he likes hobby wise like DJing and mixing music and stuff, and has like a whole PA system and all that in his room. So he pretty much takes these vinyls from and the book from that underground vault and pretty much reading the book, you know, typical Evil Dead, where somebody finds the book, starts reading the words and the sayings, and pretty much awakens the Kandarian demon.
It's the classic you find a room full of shit that you know you shouldn't touch and you touch it anyways.
Right. So that's pretty much what the son did, and the outcome of it is that the mom pretty much got possessed while she was taking out laundry, I believe, or something like
I
that.
think
Got
something.
possessed in the elevator, got stringed up by a bunch of electrical wires, you know, classic like tree in the vines and all that stuff. But yeah, so the mom ends up getting possessed and just becomes a bloodbath after that. A lot of gore, a lot of
Yeah,
scenes that I couldn't really watch.
there's not a lot plot wise here, which I think is okay. Like you can really summarize the whole movie as they find the creepy book, they summon the demon, the demon takes over the mom, and they just kind of have to survive. That's really you know all the plot that's here, but that's okay for horror movies. I feel like if horror
Keeping it
movies.
simple.
Exactly. In my opinion, horror movies are best when they're in one of two camps, which is either like think Hereditary or Midsummer, where it's very psychological, very not intelligence, the wrong word, but it's very thought provoking. It's horror that you kind of have to think about. It's more psychological. Or horror that's just like fuck it, we're gonna be scary, like we're here to have a good time, and I think that's what Evil Dead is, or Evil Dead Rise specifically is. It's just it's really fun, good horror, and there's not a whole lot of plot to hold it together, but I think that's fine. I think that works towards its benefit. Actually, it just keeps
Right.
things simple and like keeps you going. You know what I mean?
Evil Dead, pretty much like most of the movies, besides I would say Army of Darkness, kind of have like that simple plot where
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like you said, like, you know, they come upon the book, they read a few words that
Mm,
awaken this demon, and just all hell breaks loose, and then they try to find a solution onto how to stop it. So
right.
but that's pretty much what happened in this movie. um in its case, you know, we have some scenes where, you know, the mom possesses the daughter, and then the daughter gets possessed and starts, you know, eating glass, and that part I
Oh,
couldn't
dude,
watch at all.
I I think I think the reason I really liked this movie, and I know a lot of people, we talked about the IMDb rating being a little bit lower than we would have put it, but I know a lot of people didn't really like this movie, but man, like I feel like the horror elements were just there.
The special
Like the
effects
scene
and
where
the
the
gore
special
and
effects, right? Like
yeah,
the scene where she goes to like tattoo the daughter's eye, and the needle's like right next to her eye, like that's creep. And then like she like ends up tattoo scratching her face like all the way down, like that's gross. And like
the
yeah, the glass
director
eating scene, it was, yeah, really great job.
the director really knew how to put an audience in a stressful situation, that's for sure.
Really, yeah, no, definitely. I'm looking at the IMDb. He was the writer too, Lee Cronin.
Oh, is he also the writer?
He was the
Well,
writer too.
phenomenal fucking job, Lee. Honestly, like,
Yeah, no, I
it was,
agree. I
it was a good simple plot, and you know, it had that little side plot of it, you know, about Beth being pregnant too, which is not really brought up as much. I mean, it's like known, but like, you know, it's not the whole movie.
I would say that that's my least favorite part of the movie is the whole like, oh, Beth is pregnant side plot, because yeah, like it doesn't really go anywhere, and then the whole, I don't know, it felt like they, and that's why I was saying like not having a lot of plot went to this movie's benefit, is because when they did try to get into like plot and nuance and themes, like it just fell really flat. I feel like it kind of had to do, the movie was trying to say something about like motherhood and about like what it means to protect your child in a sense, if that makes sense. But
Yeah.
man, it's just it, I don't know, man, it just fell so flat for me. I don't think I could have cared less if I tried.
Well, one issue I had about with this movie that I want to add to is that I felt like, because I love horror movies where it's unexpected,
Mm-hmm.
and that get you excited and not knowing what's going to happen next.
Right.
My problem with this movie is that they did a lot of foreshadowing on like certain objects in the elevator, or like the button that they use for the garage door, or the handmade stick baby thing that the
Yeah.
daughter made.
Yeah.
I just felt like it was just expected, because when I saw they were foreshadowing all these objects, I'm like, that's going to be used, like, oh yeah, they're going to use that soon, like.
Definitely. This movie definitely uses a lot of backwards writing, where they think of an outcome or a scene first, and then they retroactively add it into the script, which is like you were saying, I wasn't a part of the production, so obviously this might not be true, but it feels like when they were making the script for this movie, they were like, oh, we want the main daughter to have kind of a heroic moment where she what does she do? She like stabs the demonic mom or something.
Yeah, the other, so her sister with
Right. Yeah, yeah. She
the
stabs her sister.
stick,
That's right.
whatever.
And it's like I think that's a decent idea, but then they were like, okay, so how do we make this work? And they were just like, let's go back 20 pages and let's very loosely bring up the fact that she has a pointy stick, and then just not bring it up until and it's like, I don't know. It's very foreshadowing is good. I think foreshadowing is something that a good work of art should have, but
Foreshadowing is good to an extent,
to an
and I
extent,
felt
and it
like
has
they
to be done
pushed it a
properly.
little bit.
Right. You can't. This movie was definitely like waving it in your face. I'm
Right.
not. I'm not sure if you're familiar with. Are you familiar with Chekhov's gun?
No.
So Chekhov's gun is the idea in the film world that it's set up and payoff. It's essentially the think of it like this: like if we have a character named Chekhov in a movie and he's loading a gun, we watch him load a gun. At some point in the movie, we have to see him fire the gun. If we see someone setting something up, we have to see it be fleshed out. We have to see it pan out, and that's a good thing. But it feels like they just were not subtle at all about it. Like the subtlety is really what makes that sort of thing work, and they just weren't here. That doesn't make it any less of an
Right.
interesting movie, and especially like the one of the I think the scene that got me the most was when the middle daughter started like bleeding the ink. Like I already didn't like the scene where they
Oh,
tattooed
like
her
through the
face.
nose and the eyes.
Yeah, and then she starts bleeding ink through her nose and her eyes and her ears, and she's like literally choking on it, and just that thought just like
Her.
makes me feel so incredibly icky. Like I don't have a way of
Yeah.
describing it other than that. And she's like drinking water to try to get it to go down, and ugh,
Yeah, no, her swallowing the glass and having the glass like poke
that
out through her
too, that
throat and
too,
stuff while she's swallowing. That I couldn't. That was hard to
that
watch,
too.
and even the cheese grater too, when she
Oh
started
man.
scraping it on the leg, like
Oh yeah.
that was awesome. But ugh. But
Oh, yeah. No.
anywho, they try several ways to reverse the words in the book to try and stop it, but that doesn't really end up working out. The mom ends up possessing the two oldest siblings, and it's pretty much fight for the death for the younger daughter, and then the mom's sister Beth.
Beth.
All the neighbors pretty much got slaughtered after the fact when the mom got possessed, and they also got possessed. They come to a point where it seemed like they finally, defeated her, but then all the other people in the apartment and her children started kind of morphing into one in a
Worst
way.
worst part of the movie.
And doing like these crazy chants, and then they had like a elevator sequence where it was kind of like started filling with blood and was like this whole like shining thing, and then they tried to make an escape with the car in the parking garage, and that's when the final boss came out, which was the mom and both the siblings just combined into this one just disgusting, like a bloodborne creature.
It was just a way to end the movie. Like make it one creature for them to kill instead of like 30.
Right.
And that was my
And
issue with that, is that like the demons were so much more powerful and capable when they were in human form, and then they just dissolve into this like bowling ball that's slow and worthless and can't do fuck all. And it's like, you would have won. Like, the demons absolutely would have won. They would have torn Beth and the little girl to fucking shreds if they'd have just chased them down the elevator instead of doing this fucking Mighty Morphin Power Rangers bullshit.
Right, exactly. So I feel like these movies connect in a way because my theory is I don't know if you noticed with each of, the mom, the daughter, and then the other son that got possessed. I don't know if you noticed their eyes.
What about their eyes? They have them?
So, yes.
Unlike that one kid.
So the eye coloring. So specifically what I mean is that so the mom, like as we see in the movie, she has like these really like light blue kind of silver possessed eyes, like,
Mm-hmm.
cuticles and whatnot.
Sure.
And then the son has the classic, deadite, milky white that are all glossed out like the original movies and like the
Mm-hmm.
TV show The Ash versus Evil Dead. And then the daughter had like these orange, like reddish
Orange
possessed
yellow,
eyes.
yeah.
And those ones, that specific eye color was more introduced in the 2013 one
Hmm.
with Jane Levy and all those other phenomenal people,
I
which,
see.
by the way, 2013 Evil Dead, whoever wants to argue with me, is a fucking
I know
amazing
you're a
movie.
big fan of that.
It's a great fucking movie. I loved it. We can talk about that in another episode, but or if we do an episode on it, which I would not mind at
I'm
all.
down. I haven't seen
But
that one.
it's good. I don't know. I caught that while I was watching Evil Dead Rise, and I think I was watching it with my brother or something. I forgot who I was watching it with, and I specifically said I was like, their eye colors are different. Like that eye colors from 2013. That milky white eye is from like the original Evil Dead. Like I just feel like it's all connected in some sort of way. And if there's three books of the Necronomicon that kind of connect all as well, then Lee Cronin, you did your research like fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, I just found that a really cool detail that they had like different eye colorings from like different movies of
Yeah.
like possessed or like the Deadites. So I
No,
was
now
like,
that you
that's
pointed
really
out, like
cool.
I'm looking at it. I definitely see it. Like that's actually really cool, I think.
Yeah. So, but anyways, Beth and Casey have like this whole battle with the mom combined with the other two siblings. They end up defeating the mom or the abomination, as I would like to call
The
it,
Demon
and
Zord.
yeah, and pretty much pushing the whole thing in the wood chipper that's randomly parked in the garage. Or what it was like a metal grater, like I think it was a
No, it
wood
was a wood
chipper.
chipper, you're right. And then
And
yeah, like I don't know, man. The whole ending was just so sloppily thrown together. With the demons merging and becoming significantly less powerful to I know this is probably not realistic for Hollywood, but I was really expecting Cassie to die. The other kids died. So I was like, and then they did that whole thing where the garage door closed and Beth made it out, but Cassie didn't. And I remember being in the theater just being like, nope, all right, well, fucking, I'm gone. Like, I'm not going back to save
right,
some little girl. Like, fuck that. But
right.
yeah, and then she goes in and just like fucking action hero superheroes the shit. And I know that's kind of part of Evil Dead is you know, but I don't know, just and then she picked up the chainsaw and I was just like, okay, so this is all fan service. This is all
Right.
like I don't know, man. And I mean, it's cool.
They
I'm
had to
not
incorporate
super
the
against it.
chainsaw, or it's not an Evil Dead movie.
I guess. And that's like, I don't mind it a ton, but man, I was really into the movie and that last like fight scene in the garage, I was rolling my eyes for most of it.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed with it, but I mean, overall, this movie was really fun. Um,
It's the journey, not the destination. The journey's fun.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the effects, the setting, the cinematography, the characters, some of the lines too, were pretty funny. I love the part where the mom was like, "I'm finally free from all you titty sucking parasites," and I was like,
Sucking
"Yeah."
parasites had me cracking up, dude. I was howling in the theater. I was laughing so hard.
I was like me with my kids when I have kids.
Oh
I'm
my
like, I'm
god.
free.
Yeah, that was such an out of
But yeah,
pocket line.
it was awesome. Like this movie was like honestly a good Evil Dead film.
Yeah.
It had a lot of ups and good quality about the film. It did have a few downs and some things that they could have fixed, but overall it was a good film and I liked it. I enjoyed it. I'm not saying it's better than 2013, but it's a good Evil Dead.
I don't know if you think anything's as good as 2013 Evil Dead.
Army of Darkness is better than 2013, of course.
Is
So I
is
would
Army of Darkness
say
your favorite?
yes.
Yeah.
Out of the original three, yes.
Okay.
Um, Out of just Evil Dead in general, I personally love the 2013 one. I don't know why. I think it was like one of my first horror films that I got to watch
Hmm.
in theater, maybe, or just something that just was very fucking creepy to me as a kid watching it. And I was like, this is fucking raw. And just the gore in it was like awesome, even though it was an excessive amount of Quentin Tarantino gore, but it was still cool. But Evil Dead Rise, man, that's a good one.
That
I
is a
liked
good
it.
one. We'll have to do
A,
2013 sometime.
yes, definitely. I definitely want to do 2013, and I
In
just
a.
want because I know you will probably have a different rating or review
Mhm.
than me, but um, I like it, and I know 100% to a T. There's gonna be a scene where you cannot watch.
Oh no! Don't tell me that.
There is a scene in that movie that you're gonna fucking hate
Fuck.
because you've already brought it up in this movie, and when we were watching it, and you're gonna hate it.
Dude, I'm such a fucking weenie. There are some scenes in Doctor Who that I can't watch. Like,
I will tell you this, Alex. It involves a needle, and you're gonna hate it.
no, 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 don't like that.
Oh my lord! Tune in next time.
In another seven
I forgot to
months.
forget. Yeah, in another. We'll be back in another like 7, 8 months. No, but hopefully we'll see you guys soon. Please don't disappear. We're really trying. We just been having a hectic and busy schedule on
It's
both
just
ends,
life,
but
man. Just being an adult.
life
It's
is hard.
it's a struggle.
It's been struggle lately, but things are starting to ease up a little bit more. We're starting to figure things out,
Mm.
and I'm glad I got to make the time to record this episode. So, or I'm glad you made the time too to record
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, we finally
um,
had a free minute lined up.
for more episodes, follow us on Spotify and YouTube. And for more updates about our podcast, follow us on Facebook at Terrorvision with Justin and Alex and Instagram at Terrorvision Podcast. It's been a pleasure seeing you guys again. I missed you guys, and I'm sure Alex didn't really miss you guys, but I did. No, I'm kidding.
No, not really.
Not really.
I do better when I'm left alone and not speaking
I
to
had to
anyone for
I had to
months.
pull the blanket off of him and pull him out of bed to record this episode
Grabbed me by
today.
the
So
ankles and yoinked me out of bed.
like, get ready for school. You're like, no. Tune in next time. We hope to see you guys again and give us more feedback about our episodes and for this one. See if you can agree with our ratings or agree with my theory. If I'm not the only one that caught that, so that would be awesome. Until next time, I'm Justin,
And I'm Alex.
and this is Terrorvision with Justin and Alex.
Thanks for watching, guys.